Tomorrow I am hopping on a plane for a 7-day trip to Canada, but I'm not bringing a checked bag, I'm not bringing a carry-on. All I'm taking is a bag that goes under the seat in front of me. So since I make packing videos on here all the time, I thought it would be fun to show you how I actually pack for a real trip. This is my first personal item trip in a while, so we have a lot of new things to try that I'm super excited to show you. And this one's gonna be interesting because I'm actually going somewhere cold. Canada is cold to me because it is like under 70 degrees. It's supposed to be between like 62 to low 70s while we're there. So I'm gonna be packing for a little bit chillier than I'm used to, which presents a challenge because normally when I'm packing for these trips, I just take the clothes that I'm wearing every day and then put them into my bag, bring 3 or 4 versions of that. But I'm not used to this kind of weather. So it'll be interesting for me to try to figure out what combination of things to bring that's not too heavy, not too bulky, because it has to fit in this backpack. Now let me show you the backpack that I'm gonna be bringing. This is the Air Travel Pack 3 size small. This is a really, really popular backpack on Reddit. However, it is expensive, so I'm gonna test it out on this trip to see, I don't know, if it warrants the price tag. I made sure to get the small because the traditional travel pack is more carry-on size. The small is very close to the personal item limits. It comes in at 19 by 13 by 8, 19 by 13 by 7.5. So it is a little bit too tall, but I think it's gonna be okay. Let's go ahead and open that up and we can start packing the clothes. When you're traveling personal item only, I always suggest putting the biggest items and wearing them on your flight. So I know that this is gonna be a little bit chillier than I'm used to. So I'm definitely packing a sweater, but this is actually gonna be part of my airplane outfit. So it'll be nice and warm on the plane. And then I'm also wearing a black tank top and a pair of black, they're like travel pants. They're a little bit dressier, but they're more athletic at the same time. So they're breathable, but they can be dressed up easily, which means they give me a little more versatility once we actually get there. I know I typically show you guys compression packing cubes, but I have this really interesting product. If you've ever gone camping and compressed a sleeping bag, it's kind of like that. So I'm gonna try using just this, but if this doesn't work, I'll put everything in a compression cube and then use this to compress it even further. For now, I'm just gonna fold everything to the width of the bag. Normally I would fold to the width of the packing cube, but since this is open, I'm gonna kind of fold it all in this general area. Normally I wouldn't recommend bringing jeans because they're not only bulky, but pretty heavy when you pack them out. But since I'm only bringing 2 pairs of pants for this trip, which are my workout pants that I'm wearing at the airport and these jeans, I figured I would let it slide for this time, especially since it's cooler weather than I'm usually used to. I'm also gonna pack these shorts in case it's warm one day, as well as my sleepy pants, which are just some running shorts, and 2 t-shirts. I figured these would be good for layering, so I've got this striped one as well as just a simple gray t-shirt. In addition to those 2, I'm packing one more, which is just my sleeping top. I always pack the same pajamas, which are those running shorts, and a comfortable t-shirt like this. Bringing this backless long sleeve, it's kind of like a workout material because I thought this would be really easy to dress up if I need to. And I'm not sure if I need to keep this, but it's small. I'm gonna bring a tank top because I thought it would be easy to layer underneath like a sweatshirt, if, you know, just an easy layering piece. Honestly, I feel like I should stop here, but I have a couple more items I wanna see if I can fit. And then if we get it all set up and it doesn't work, we can take them out later, but I just wanna try and see. For this trip, I'm packing 7 pairs of underwear and 3 or 4 pairs of socks. Yeah, 4 pairs of socks. I figured 1 pair of underwear per day and then a couple socks. Then above that, I'm packing my bralette and 1 more skirt in case it's warmer than I expect, as well as this wrap top. Once again, another nice long sleeve layer that's still really lightweight, so it works for this kind of like transitional weather. On top of that, I'm putting my shawl, and now we're just gonna compress everything. Okay, so according to the photos, now I place this on top and I'm supposed to cinch down on all 4 sides. Similar, you know, I said that's kind of like if you've ever used like a sleeping bag that cinches, it's like the same vibe as that. I put a lot of clothes in here. This is way more than I would typically pack for just a personal item, so I'm interested to see how much this compresses. I don't think this would fit or compress in my usual compression packing cube. The photos on the website show that you can use this with either a packing cube or alone, so I'm just gonna try to use it alone today. Like I said, if it doesn't work, we'll just put these into a normal compression packing cube. It's interesting because each time I flip it over, I feel like I can tighten it more. And now it's like pretty tight. You can see how the concept works like this. It kind of holds it all squished together. So interesting. I'm gonna tuck these little straps in here. There's a little Velcro portion. And then let's go ahead and put it back in the bag. The only drawback I see to this so far is that if you wanted to get something out of here while you're in the airport or something, it seems like it would be kind of difficult to do because you'd have to re-cinch and retighten it again. So that's the only drawback I see so far. It allows you to fold it to the exact dimensions of your bag as well, which I can see being really good, because that's a hard thing when you're looking for packing cubes, is you can't always find one that perfectly fits your bag. So I really like that portion of it. And I forgot I'm also bringing a raincoat, so I'm actually gonna put that behind all of this. Try to just fold it as flat as I can. I'm not too worried about this. It's pretty thin and lightweight, so I'll just fold it to the shape of the bag and then place those clothes back on top of it. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put that to the side, and we're gonna look at my toiletries. And I get this complaint occasionally. So this is my toiletries bag that I typically take on trips. You've seen it in all of my packing videos thus far, but I do wanna challenge myself to actually put everything in an official quart-sized bag. I fly with this all the time. No one ever says anything, but I don't think it's technically quart-sized. So I'm just gonna take out all my stuff. And this time I'm not bringing any shampoo or body wash because I'm going to bring this like shampoo bar and body wash bar, and I'm gonna use that to test out this like flat pack self-drying bag from Matador that they sent. I just downsized a lot of this, and I think that's gonna be the next video that goes up, is downsizing the rest of my toiletries, just like I did with my makeup. So you'll see that soon. So I'm just gonna place a couple things to the side that I wanna have in my fanny pack for easy access, like my eye drops, my cuticle cream, Aquaphor lip gloss, and then I'm just gonna start by putting everything else in the bag. I'm also packing this 70% alcohol. I made this in my mini toiletries video just so that I could sanitize things like the tray table on the airplane without needing to have a sanitizing wipe. I could just use like a napkin or even clean my glasses. Since I'm bringing a bar of shampoo rather than a liquid, I'm also bringing this hair oil just because I don't think this is very nourishing. So this should help smooth my hair if it gets frizzy at all, as well as these tiny little makeup blushes. You'll see all of these in the next video. And I'm also testing out this toothpaste container. I have my makeup remover as well as my tiny little eyelash curler that you guys told me about. And I think that's it, though this is my powder that I've made previously and my travel makeup palette. I'm gonna see if these fit in here as well. Just slide the powder here, and then I think it actually might be too big to fit in there, so I'm gonna put those in a different bag with the makeup brushes. Now I'm just gonna toss these last few things on top because I'll take these out and put them in my bag once I'm through security. And there's my quart-sized toiletries bag. Since I made everything so small, I have a ton of things in here, more than I typically would. So if you're interested in seeing how I did that, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss that next video. Next is this small bag I have here. My friend made this for me, and I've been using this for my makeup brushes instead of the flat case that I used to use just because the handles didn't really fit well in that. So I'm just gonna tuck my makeup brushes in here as well as my little travel makeup set. Finally, and I'm gonna pull out this super old shampoo bar. I got this back in I think like 2019 on a trip, and it's a little old. Don't look at it too closely. Anyway, I'm just gonna fold this up in here and we're gonna test that out on this trip. I'm curious to see how well it works. People have really raved about this, so I wanna see if it lives up to the hype. And now this is all of my toiletries and makeup. And then I have like some miscellaneous stuff that I also plan to bring along for like work and tech and electronics, so I'm just gonna pack that next. For this trip, I am bringing along the brand new gimbal from Hohem. This takes everything I love from their larger gimbals, but puts it in an extremely compact size, which means I can bring this even when I'm traveling with just a personal item. If you like to document your trips, you are going to love this, especially if you are filming solo because of these two features: the detachable screen and the AI tracker. I used to really struggle with using gimbals, and honestly, I just didn't. But this AI tracker makes it so simple. You just swipe the screen, double tap what you want to track, and that's it. It works for people, objects, and pets, and it just makes it so much easier to get really cool shots without having to be like an expert. Seriously, anyone could use this. I feel comfortable handing this to my partner who is not tech savvy at all, and I just love that about it. It also has a detachable screen, so I can put the gimbal down, walk away, and still control it from up to 33 feet away. I love filming with the back camera on my phone because the quality is so much better, but I really used to stress about this because I couldn't see myself. It was hard to check framing, but with this, I can make sure I'm centered, preview what I'm gonna be shooting, and start and stop recording, all without having to go back to my phone. But if you don't want to use the little remote, there are still gesture controls that allow you to start, stop, reposition, so many different things just using your hands. I do love that the tracker has these little LED indicators on it so I can confirm when it's tracking, filming, and see when it stops, all without having to check the remote or my phone. And none of this requires a special app. It works completely with the gimbal, so you can film on whatever camera app you want, including the native one. It has an infinite 360-degree spin, and it can spin and spin and spin, so you also don't have to worry about it stopping randomly or reaching its limit while it's tracking you. Usually, I can't bring a gimbal when I travel personal item only, so I am very excited to take this along on my trip, and I will let you know how it goes. Now I have all of my essentials, my toiletries, my clothes. Here are the other small items that I'm gonna bring. The first are these, which are called cakes. They're basically nipple covers, so I combine these with my bralette so that I don't have to bring a padded bra. They stick to you using body heat, so you can also wear them with backless or strapless things. However, I'm just gonna use them with my bralette on this trip. Next is my wireless microphone because I want to record some voiceovers for videos, as well as my compression socks, which I will change into once I'm at the airport before we get onto the flight. With the main compartment full, I'm gonna move into this front area, which has a ton of pockets, and this is where I'm gonna put all of my little tech stuff for the trip. First up is my in-flight entertainment, and I'm so happy to see that this Kindle slides perfectly into this pocket. I'm also bringing my multi-purpose charging block and power bank, which I stuffed up here, as well as my cables, one for my laptop and one is my like 4-in-1 cable that I use for my phone and all my other chargers. Since I am going to be working on this trip, I'm bringing my hard drive and cord for that, as well as my ring charger for my smart ring. I'm not really sure where to put this. I don't want to like break anything because it's not flat. So I'm thinking maybe here. No, I'm just going to tuck it in between my charging cables. And that is that for now. Now in this big main pocket, I'm gonna go back and add my fanny pack. This is just the day bag that I'm gonna use for the trip. However, sometimes the gate agents when you're flying on budget airlines are very picky about the personal item. So I just wanna make sure that it will fit inside the main compartment if I need to put it in there. Then there is a small quick access pocket on the top, though it kind of slides behind everything. I'm just gonna slide my wired earbuds in here in case I need them for the in-flight entertainment. They don't take up any space, so I'll bring these occasionally. In this front pocket, I'm just sliding a mask in case I want to wear that in the airport or on the plane. I like to have that on hand in case there's a lot of people coughing. Finally, I need to find a place for my flat power strip. I'm going to be sharing this with my partner, so I'm thinking maybe I can move the Kindle and put it in here. But the hardest part about packing this is cord is like kind of big and bulky, so I don't think it's gonna fit in here nicely. But there is this mesh pocket at the top inside the main compartment, so I think, yeah, it's gonna fit in there perfectly, and it's flexible, so it doesn't have to be like all neat and tidy. It can bend with the pocket. And I just realized I forgot to put my makeup palette in my makeup bag, so I'm just gonna slide that in there, put that behind my other stuff, and then place these other things back on top of it. The last thing I want to do is weigh this to see if it's under 7 kilograms. This is not a requirement for the airline that I'm flying, but I'm kind of just curious to see how much this weighs, and I thought you guys might want to see it too. I lost my travel scale though, so we're just gonna measure the difference using a normal scale, and it came out to 67.2. When I subtract my weight from that, that gives me 8.2 kilograms, which is obviously above 7 kilograms, so I don't know. I'm not gonna worry about the 7 kilogram for this time, but this bag does feel heavy. the next day, I packed my toothbrush, my tongue scraper, put that in with my razor, and then slid that into the front of the bag. Since I'm using a different toiletries container, I grabbed a couple things out of the front pocket that I usually bring with me, like my contacts, a headband to put my hair back when I wash my face, pimple patches, and things like that, and a hair tie. Then I slid in my water bottle, which is another new product that I'm testing. This one comes with a filter in it, so I'm excited to try this at the airport where the water tastes so bad. And then the last two things I added were a little book for my nieces and nephew, as well as my laptop, and I just slid both of those into the laptop sleeve. Now, coming back to this with fresh eyes, I do think that I packed too much, so I want to take a couple things out of this. The first thing that I'm going to take out is this athletic skirt. I really don't think it's going to be warm enough to need this, and I'm also going to take out a pair of socks, as well as 2 pairs of underwear, and this little tank top. My partner told me we have a laundry machine at the Airbnb, so I figure we'll do laundry at least once during the trip, and I really don't need to bring all of these extra items because I'm gonna be able to wash them halfway through. So cinching this back up one more time before I put it back in the bag and add all of my other little things. The very last thing I need to do is just make sure that my eSIM is set up. Since I am leaving the United States, I got 2 eSIMs using the same company that I used for our trip to Thailand a couple years back. Basically, this is like a virtual SIM card. I used to purchase these at the destination, but I don't even think you can put a physical SIM card in iPhones. So these basically let you connect to the local carriers and typically will give you faster data while you're there. And you're not limited to the amount of it. And that is everything that I packed for this trip. I want to do an unpack with me as well, kind of like a trip report after the trip is done. So I will keep you updated on that. And I'm curious to know what you would change from my packing list and what you would keep.